Greetings Acolytes, and welcome back to the Archives. The 4 Jedi Masters sent to take down Darth Sidious was a team comprised of Saesee Tiin, Agen Kolar, Kit Fisto, and Mace Windu. These Jedi were all decorated warriors, and Mace Windu's personal picks when it came to dealing with darkness, especially ultimate darkness in Sidious. Although none of them realized the sheer power that Palpatine held, or the fate that awaited them, the Jedi Council was confident in these specific masters. However, there was a time briefly where the High Council actually believed that only 2 Jedi were necessary whenever the Dark Lord finally revealed himself. These choices were Mace Windu, of course, and Agen Kolar. The latter Jedi is one that flies under the radar a lot simply because we don't have very many accounts of his exploits and accounts of his battle prowess. Agen is actually normally in the background of the Jedi High Council. But make no mistake, had it been any other Sith than Sidious, they would have had an extremely difficult time dealing with this team, the team that was Windu and Kolar. And in today's holocron, we are going to break down exactly why the Council believed only these 2 masters would be necessary when dealing with the ultimate Dark Lord when he revealed himself. So let's answer the question. Why did the Council believe this? And why were they so terribly wrong? When getting into the minds of the High Council, we have to forget everything that we know about Sidious, considering that they didn't know anything either. The only thing the Council was aware of was just how manipulative the Dark Lord was. Yet, they never even imagined the sheer scale of his manipulation. Prior to the revelation of Sidious's identity, the Council had narrowed down the Sith Lord's location to Coruscant, and possibly someone within Palpatine's inner circle. The Council's theories were that perhaps it was either Mas Amedda or Sly Moore. They didn't even rule out the possibility that the Sith Lord was hiding amongst Palpatine's personal guards. At any rate, it was the Council's firm belief that Palpatine was a puppet figure of the Sith Lord, and one that had infiltrated the Republic. As such, they expected that he should reveal himself at any moment, especially when Dooku was killed. This being the case, and the confrontation with the Dark Lord imminent, the Council ruled that the 2 Jedi selected for this task should stay on Coruscant at all times, dedicated to monitoring the movements of Palpatine and being on standby when the moment arose. These Jedi were Mace Windu and Agen Kolar, and they were selected for 3 very specific reasons. The first of which was both of these Jedi Masters were completely uncompromising towards evil or darkness. It goes without saying that the creator of Vapad would be an enemy of all evil. Mace Windu mastered the art of bringing his own emotion to the forefront of his mind without actually falling into it. The result was one that he could take on his opponent's darkness and allow it to fountain back out from him like a lightsaber reflecting a blaster bolt, making him essentially invincible when achieved correctly. This would work exceptionally well against someone who uses the dark side or anyone with aggressive feelings, as all of their own inner darkness would be reflected back at them like a mirror. Mace Windu was the first and most obvious choice to take down the sinister Sidious, especially once he revealed himself. One doesn't become second only to the Grand Master for no reason, and Windu proved himself time and time again to have conquered the darkness. If Sidious was as manipulative as the Council assumed him to be, they would need a Jedi who would be completely unshakable in the face of evil. Jedi who would resist all forms of manipulation. They were of course still working under the assumption that Sidious was like the Sith Lords of old and might try some sort of spell to pull the Jedi under his control, not realizing that they had already lost the war. Their choice of Agen Kolar was made for the same reasons as Windu. Surprisingly, Kolar was actually known as being impulsive and far more ready to use his lightsaber than most Jedi, especially Council members. Agen did not tolerate the niceties of politics, and his negotiation tactics are usually summed up to surrender or die. The point was, Agen Kolar was blunt and direct. He swung his lightsaber first and asked questions later. This gung-ho attitude was certainly the reason that the Council would have wanted Kolar to be by Windu's side for such a mission. Should the Sith try any sort of trickery, the Council was confident that Agen would not give the Dark Lord even a chance before moving in to slay him. Kolar was uncompromising when it came to his enemies, which made him an excellent, albeit aggressive military leader. He was essentially a loyal Pong Krell, a dangerous Jedi by all accounts. Knowing this, it's shocking that Kolar was even on the Jedi Council considering how they felt about combat-minded Jedi, especially since he sounds a lot like Anakin. However, all of his aggression was offset by his fierce loyalty and devotion to solely the Jedi Council. In fact, he was among the most loyal Jedi to the Council when many were turning away from it. Both Windu and Agen Kolar loved the Council above anything else. They were loyal to a fault and would do anything that the Council asked of them. even killing the Chancellor if they thought it necessary. These two Jedi believed that the High Council knew what was best for the galaxy and had no issues when they were told to participate in the Clone War. Of course, Egan had a bit of a personal stake in the Clone Wars since his Padawan died during the Battle of Geonosis. Because of this, he would carry her lightsaber crystal inside of his own hilt until the day where Sidious would cut him down. But now let's move on to the most fascinating aspect why these Jedi were chosen: their individual skill with the blade. And here, we realized why Yoda and the rest of the council believed that whatever Sidious could throw at them, Egan and Windu could counter perfectly. Mace Windu requires no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. His sword skill was legendary, and he pioneered his own lightsaber form and tamed what was considered to be the ultimate Sith combat style. By now, at least in Legends, Windu had triumphed over 3 dark-side opponents, all of whom used to be Jedi. The list included Depa Billaba, Sora Bulk, and Proset Dibs, who would later go on to become the 10th brother. There was no doubt that should any Sith Lord try to arise, Mace Windu would be the guardian of justice to ensure that the Darksider felt every ounce of pain that they inflicted on others. Windu's knowledge and power within Vapad was what permanently cemented him as the first responder for Darth Sidious. This is why he is held so close to Coruscant, and Windu was considered so powerful that Grandmaster Yoda was sooner selected to lead on the front lines of the war than Mace Windu, because of the simple fact that he needed to be ready at a moment's notice in case Sidious revealed himself, something Palpatine knew. Egan Kolar wouldn't have been chosen if they didn't consider his saber skill to at least be somewhere close to Mace's. While we don't have very many feats listed for Kolar, we can say that he was considered one of the best duelists of the day by the rest of the Jedi Council. One of the only times that we can record him fighting would be when he faced Quinlan Vos, who had temporarily embraced the dark side. In all the times that they clashed, Kolar was able to nearly effortlessly fend off Vos's attacks while trying to reason with him. Even Quinlan at his best could not match Kolar whatsoever, and this was in large part to the hybridized style that Egan mastered, a merging in a hybrid form of 4 Ataru and 5 Gemso. Egan had mastered Ataru to such a degree that he was considered to be second only to Yoda, and if he were to lose his lightsaber, he more than made up for it in unarmed combat. Kolar alone was unable to take out an entire cantina full of ruffians by himself, never turning on his lightsaber at all. What's fascinating is Egan Kolar's lightsaber form was remarkably close to Anakin Skywalker's, as well as the way that he approached battle: aggressive, uncompromising, rushing straight into it with his sheer skill. He was if a less powerful Anakin with the same mindset was loyal and obedient to the Council, and they considered him to be the perfect response to one Darth Sidious. The ability for Mace Windu to control and channel the darkness, and Egan Kolar to be one of the greatest combatants that the Jedi Order had at the time. Together, they were believed to be unstoppable. Although it is never confirmed, I also do believe that Anakin may have been inspired by Egan Kolar's chosen lightsaber form, as they are remarkably similar. Anakin developed the form in response to Dooku, when he was finally able to implement the Ataru footwork into the aggressiveness and the sheer power of Gemso. The Council also likely believed that Egan Kolar would be one of the few that could go toe-to-toe with the Count. It also says that Anakin Skywalker's very lightsaber form, at least to the Council, believed to be the ultimate Sith Slayer. Perhaps if Anakin had gone, it would have been better, showing ultimate trust in the Chosen One. But now, we must address the unfortunate ending to all of this acclaim. Sidious was far more powerful than anyone on the Jedi Council ever anticipated. Even when they sent the combined might of 4 Jedi Council members after him, they meant nothing. The Sith had grown strong in the shadows, and perhaps the only 2 Jedi that could have bested him were Yoda and Windu. To this day, it's still debated whether or not who really won the fight against Windu and Palpatine. Despite all of the Council's hopes and confidence in the skill of Egan Kolar, Egan would be disappointingly struck down first by the Dark Lord, having been overwhelmed by the Sith's immense speed. In the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, it does play out different, and he was the second to be killed. However, the point remains that he still went down much more quickly than expected, especially after the Sith Lord used a dark side scream. Had Windu faced Sidious alone, Egan would certainly have been little more than an obstacle for the Dark Lord to walk over in order to get to Windu. But anyway, my friends, this is why the Jedi Council was confident in these 2 Jedi specifically. But definitely let us know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and your thoughts on Egan Kolar. Is he a member of the council that you would like to see more of? And are you disappointed just how little we actually know? As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting the archives today, and may the Force be with you.